Also with us now is oceanographer and deep sea explorer David Gallo. And David Gallo, thank you for joining us in this, what seems like a very foreboding wait, really, for the 3 o'clock briefing that we're expected to hear from the Coast Guard now that a debris field has been found near the Titanic. What are your conclusions?
Well, in a way, it's, PH was very close to all of us. And, this solution was the simplest solution that we heard that they had lost contact. Someone else said that someone else heard an implosion right around the same time, which meant the sub was probably right over Titanic, and any debris would have fallen down onto the Titanic debris field. Titanic's broken in 2 parts at the bottom of the ocean, and we made the first big map of that area. In fact, PH was one of the co-leaders with me to make the first map of that entire area. But you have 2 big pieces of the hull, and between them, thousands of pieces of debris on the seafloor, the debris field from Titanic. And now, I don't know exactly where, but somewhere in there is the debris from Titan. So the trick now will be to sort which is which out, and probably to do a forensic study while those pieces are still on the seafloor. But, it's sad, but over. Now we know what happened to the vehicle.
And we don't, even though we don't know yet, you're the expert, but you've lost a close friend and colleague.
Sure.
Potentially.
Yeah, PH was. Yeah, so many of us, PH was much loved. He was called Mr. Titanic. In a way, there's something here that, he's now in the area that he loved most under the sea, which is Titanic and the Titanic debris field. So, that's sad, but somehow comforting in a way. And again, the ending this way, it's not suffering through days of dwindling oxygen. It's as instantaneous as you can get. If there was a rupture of the hull, it's just over within milliseconds. So,
Mr. Gallo, you've thought about this. I know we all do this as part of our culture, but the continuing fascination with the Titanic. Talk to me about that. You've certainly experienced it.
I came to Woods Hole in 1986, right after it was discovered. I thought all the ballyhoo would be over with by 1987, and every single year it goes up and up and up. And I think Jim Cameron said every generation rediscovers Titanic. There's something there for everybody. There's the personal stories of the 2,000 people on board. There's the tragedy of that night and everything in between. The company that PH worked for and I work with is RMS Titanic Inc., and they've been the ones early on recovered artifacts, and you can see them in various exhibitions all around the planet, really. But the public, sitting there and watching the public come in, young and old, affluent and not, individuals and families, there is a fascination that runs very deep, and a passion, which in this case, the people in the submarine have to somehow fill. And, it is pretty amazing to me that globally, you say Titanic and people right away know what that story is.
Tom Costello, your thoughts?
I wanted to ask Mr. Gallo a question, if you don't mind, because he is an expert on the Titanic and of submersibles. If, in fact, Titan, the wreckage, the debris from Titan is interspersed around or in the debris field for the Titanic, does that damage what is really a cemetery at sea and the resting place for 1,500 people? I'm wondering how that would potentially interfere with or be a part of that 100-year-old graveyard already.
You raise a very good point, one that we spent a good part of the last few days, day and night, talking about. That, okay, if that was the solution, if it imploded above the wreck site, then how do you begin to do the forensics that are necessary and at the same time preserve the area? It's a protected area of the seafloor. That's not so important at the moment because we want answers about what exactly happened here. I don't think there's a rush at this point to, if it's in, there's a lot of small debris not much forensic you can get from that. But if there are pieces of the hull, you want to get those out fairly. So maybe do forensics in the location. And we proved that you can do that. Especially we proved it on Titanic, that you could do a forensic study right there on the site. So it's going to be difficult. I mean, you raise a very good point about how do we recover and yet preserve at the same time. And one big part of it, of course, is going to be understanding which is which. It should be easy to do. You would think that you could tell something from the Titan versus something from 1912. But the ocean does funny things, so it could be fairly not so easy. And in
I've
order
heard
to
people
remove pieces of the of Titan, it may require bringing in some heavy equipment that might, in fact, damage the seafloor around Titanic. But in a way, again, it doesn't seem to be that important at this moment. Solving this mystery about exactly what happened seems to be the most important thing.
David Gallo, to solve the mystery, what kind of equipment would you be using to go down? Robotics?
Yes, robots do a great job. And today with LiDAR, laser scanning, 8K cameras, accurate navigation, there's no GPS at the bottom. But today you can know where you are within a few centimeters, really. And putting together images, 3D images, so that you can scan something on the bottom of the sea and actually bring it up to a forensic team up on the surface, or through satellite, send it anywhere around the world so they can examine every nut and bolt. And if they say you have to go back, we want to know about this particular crack, you can go back and study that in detail and get that back to them. So, the one thing we think you shouldn't do is just start recovering things immediately, just start grabbing things. You do want to treat it like a crime scene and control who goes in there, who comes out of there, and be sure that you've got all the different elements that you need to study. It's Air France 447, which was aircraft people thought would never be found. P.H. Nargile, again, was co-expedition leader with me and Sylvain Pascode, and we were able to show that you could find a debris field and work with a forensic team to get them the information they need without actually recovering everything from the seafloor.
Do you think that this will set back the submersible industry, private exploration?
That's a real good question. I don't know if it'll set it back, but there's going to be a very good look at what this is all about if this is something that's necessarily good or bad. And I think it's a necessary thing. It's going to be painful, but very necessary to put some pieces in place. Titanic is protected by an international treaty, and I assume that group will come. It's United States, France, Canada, United States, France, Canada, and the UK will probably convene and look at this whole story about the industry of tourism and dives in general to Titanic.